who knows what's happened in the last 6 weeks before this comes out. But, we've got tariffs and we don't, then we have tariffs, then we don't, we have this trade war, then we don't, then we have. So from a perspective of economic uncertainty, which we're certainly living in, I think we still have a great global economy, but we have some real uncertainty about where the winds are going to blow. You've got people with not a lot of money trying to make money, and you've got people, I'm sure, that you manage that have a lot of money that don't want to lose that money. What is your advice to these people today that, when I open my stock checker and I don't know what the hell I'm going to see at 9:31. I just don't know what's going to happen, right? I mean, it usually just starts off one direction or the other. So what's your, how do you talk to these people that have a lot of money, that are trying to hold on to it, and others that are trying to build it in today's world?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm very much a student of Warren Buffett, and one of the things that he said that it really always resonates with me is, for every dollar you lose, you have to make two just to get back to zero, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just math. And so if you can manage the downside risk, the profits will take care of themselves. The problem is too many people focus on the reward rather than the risk. There is no reward without risk. That's the fact of life, right?
Yep.
You can put your money into a savings account and it'll generate, 2 or 3% in interest a year, maybe 1 or 2 after taxes. And if you don't want to take any risks, that product is for you, right? You'll never get anywhere, right? But you might, a couple of $100 a year. But ultimately, any gain comes with a risk. And people only focus on, if I put my money in NVIDIA, or if I put my money into this token, right, I would make 130%, right? You could also lose 300%. People don't
when you buy it. Yeah.
Right? People don't want to talk about that part.
Yeah. So
I preach diversification, right? I preach, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Let's spread this money out so that when parts of the economy aren't working, other parts will be. And ultimately, you cannot time the market, right?
Yeah.
I see so much on Instagram and TikTok that pisses me off about, look, now we're at the bottom and it's going to jump off from here because here's what this chart says. And historically, no one knows what's going to happen, right? Ultimately,
and if you knew, you're not spending time on TikTok making videos. If you actually knew, right? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. If I knew which way the stock market was going, I would be on an island somewhere.
You wouldn't be on this podcast. Damn straight. Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, the only way to really do it is to, again, coming back to that mindset, having that intentionality of saying, I am a long-term investor. I'm not going to pull my money out. I'm actually going to, when things are, going poorly in one sector, I'll seek out those sectors that are working, right? I'll put my money in places that, maybe the gains are a little more modest because it's less risky, right? I love municipal bonds personally because they're tax-free. So, it's making those decisions though, to make sure, again, that it goes back to your goals, right? My goal is to have $10 million in 30 years. Okay, so then why are you pulling out all your money now? You're never going to get there if you do that, right? Or, if my goal is I need this money to last me and generate income, okay, why are you in the stock market at all? You should only be in fixed income because, again, it pays you out at a fixed income, right? So it's marrying your intentions with your goals that ultimately helps people, especially in these very uncertain times, to be certain about themselves, right? It's the only thing you can control is yourself. So you can't control the noise. You can't control when the market is going to rebound, what tariffs are going to look like, whether we're going to have trade wars or not, what other countries are going to do. What we can know and what we do know is that American companies often and ultimately thrive. We know they do because that has been true since time immemorial. We've lasted through worse than this. Went through a Great Depression, the Dust Bowl, the recession in the 1800s. These have been a steady state within our economy.
Yeah.
The only certainty is that there will be a downturn, right? We know that these things are cyclical. So we will come back and we'll come back stronger. Might take some time, but again, you have to have that view of long-term thinking rather than it comes back to even, starting a business to make money. That's not a good reason to start a business because it takes a long time for it to make money. So there is no get rich quick, right? There's get rich slow. There's no such thing as get rich quick.